Hello, everybody. What's up, guys? It's the one and only African Superstar back at it again with another live stream. Big shout out to the African Superstar family. Much love to all of our new viewers and all the old ones, too. Yes. In current events, I want to remind you that my full musical catalog is available at www.bandcamp.com. You can support me as an independent artist by purchasing my music directly from bandcamp.com, as well as streaming it through all the streaming platforms. We also have an upcoming tour in Ghana, October 2024. If you want to come and meet me and Mr. Taya Ehuru in person, we would love and are ready and excited to welcome you to Ghana. So please do, if you're interested in our tour, book your spot today so that we can begin to prepare for you in the autumn time. Big shout out to the African Superstar family, guys. If you're here, you should know the protocols by now. Be on code. Being on code means come into the room, the chat room. Say hello. Make sure you like the stream. And if so inclined, do support the stream. And you can also share it with your friends. Today I had a question because I got forwarded one of these platforms who I'm not going to name them. And the entire platform is from an ADOS female, FBA female, so the American descendants of slaves. You know, there is a segment of Black Americans that believe they are not connected to Africa. They believe they are indigenous to America, and therefore they don't want to associate or recognize any connections to Africa. I know it's bizarre, I know, but there is a movement. And then the FBA is the foundational Black Americans, so they are very similar, I assume, with their belief system or whatnot. Today's question is, do these groups encourage white Americans, Latin Americans, Jewish Americans, all the non-Black Americans to also avoid America? Or is it just the diaspora that they don't want to go? Because when I was looking at this particular platform, it is a female YouTuber, I'll say that much. This person, every single video is slandering Africa, talking about this, talking about that. And I don't understand why Western Blacks are so divisive. You know, Black people as a whole have talked heavily about unity, but they don't practice what they preach. They don't practice what they preach because I don't understand what is the benefit of tearing down other aspects of your community if they don't necessarily agree with you or they have a different prospect. I always ask the same questions to these foundational groups in America when it comes to Black people. What are the future prospects? What are the future prospects in America for our people? How are we supposed to overcome and deal with the threats and the hostility that we face? The discrimination, the racism. How are we supposed to escalate? How are we supposed to create generational wealth in families? How are we supposed to, basically change our status in the West? Or are we just going to perpetually be in the situations that we're in, that our people have been facing now for centuries, trying desperately to integrate and matriculate in these Western societies? What is so wrong about venturing into the international community and looking for opportunities? Or is it Africa that's the problem? Because do you have an issue with white Americans, might I add, lots of them currently on social media promoting their people to go and enterprise in Africa? Is that completely okay with the FBA and the ADOS? Do they have no reservations about white Americans, for instance, going over to Africa? What is their bone with Black Americans, for instance, going to enterprise? What is their bone? You see, these are the things that make our global community very, very weak. Because I don't see, for instance, the local Chinese in China creating a division with those Western born Chinese in the UK and America or Canada, or those Jews that are in Israel, having some type of bone to pick with the Jews that are in New York or the Jews that are in Ohio or whatever. This is such a weakness of our people. Because actually I can say, as someone who is very active in the Ghanaian community, for instance, the global Ghanaian community, it is a massive resource. I would liken it to, for Western Blacks that are maybe part of fraternities and sororities. You can go to a new city and look up your sorority sisters or your fraternity brothers, and you can tap into different resources. That's how the African communities work. I have personally posted on my Facebook and said, hey, I'm going to be in this location. Does anybody know anyone here? Does anyone have any family here? I've posted on my Facebook, hey, I need to ship something to the US or the UK. Is anybody traveling? So, these type of things. Or when I move to new countries, like when I moved to England, and obviously when I moved to Africa and my various world travels. Having a global community is so valuable, and our people are missing out on it because of these divisions. And I also want to say, what exactly is so exclusive to Black Americans that they don't want other members of the diaspora to be a part of it? That you just want your one corner. Don't you see how vulnerable that makes you? So we have one pocket here. We have one pocket here. It's like, this is 2024. Do we not understand the concept of divide and conquer? Like, why can't we be mature enough to rise above a lot of these issues and focus on the core issues? The core issues is, I believe personally, the mental well-being of our people, the functionality of our people, the prospects of family and generational wealth. I think these are the cornerstones that are very extremely important. And these are areas that are being completely attacked in these Western environments, which is why our people are very unstable, because we don't have any cohesion. And instead of us, coming to some understanding about, okay, hey, yes, we are culturally different. All the members of the diaspora are culturally different. Whether you were raised in Haiti, whether you were raised in Africa or America or England, there's definitely some differences there. There's definitely some cultural difference. There's definitely some language barriers and all of that. But at the end of the day, we have a lot of similarities, and that is where we should focus upon. I wonder, they obviously, I've called them out in the title, so I know they'll come to this video, but that's what I want to know. I want to know if the ADOS and the FBA, if they care about all the other Americans going over to Africa that are actually going to take advantage and actually make it big. Do they care that's going on, or is it just us? They want to stay in this misery, in these environments, stay victimized, stay, perpetually disenfranchised. There are opportunities. It cannot be negated that there are opportunities available in Africa that are not currently available in the West for our people. Period. Like I talked about in my last live stream, you can't buy land in America, UK, Canada, Australia, nothing for $5,000. But currently you can do that in Africa. Okay, how difficult will it be for you to become a farmer, for instance, in these Western environments? How difficult would it be for you to acquire farmland here? And then all the equipment needed and all the, these kind of things, it cannot be disputed that it is damn near, I'm not going to say impossible, but it's very challenging and very capital intensive to duplicate these same things in the West. Do you not understand how wealth and fortunes are built? Do you not understand? They are built off the opportunities when people get in there early, when people recognize opportunities that other people don't see. And it's very unfortunate because the diaspora is going to lose. out. Not all of them, but I think a sizable amount of the diaspora is going to definitely lose out in Africa because for some reason they're caught up in their emotions and semantics and nonsense and divisions and all these things. And they're not just looking at the wealth options that's available. They're not looking at the actual opportunities. If you were to strip away the fact that that land is in Africa, all right, you would probably jump on the opportunity to get land for $5,000, right? First trivia question, guys. If somebody came to you and said, "Look, I'm giving away, I have an acre of land and I'm selling it for 5,000 USD." They don't tell you the location, but they just say, "I have land and I'm selling it for 5,000 USD." Is that a deal or not? Yes or no? First trivia question. If somebody came to you, they didn't tell you the location, but they said, "I'm selling land for $5,000. I'm selling an acre of land for $5,000. Is that a deal? Yes or no? Big shout outs to the African Superstar family. I'm going to come through and do shout outs. Thank you for those of you guys that's in the chat room and on code. Big shout outs to Passport Traveler who answered my question. And Lemmy God, who is the first one in the chat. I'm coming to your comments in a minute, guys. If somebody said to you, "I got an acre of land, it's $5,000. None of us can dispute that that is a deal. None of us can dispute it. Yet, right now, I don't know if you can get an acre for $5,000 in America, in Ghana. Or, I mean, definitely not in Ghana. You probably, well, you know, it might be rural to get a whole acre for $5,000. That's about 50,000, 60,000 CDs, and that's, you know, you could get 2 plots, which would be 3 plots. Let's see, it's half an acre. 6 plots is a whole acre. So you could actually get 2 plots for that amount currently, at least where I'm dealing with. The bottom line is, if somebody came to you and said, "Look, I got this land for $5,000, you would undisputedly say that is a deal. But for some reason, these opportunities are right now available in Africa, and Black Americans are sleeping on it because of whatever emotional, emotional issues, a lot of semantics and all these things. They're missing out on the actual opportunity that's available. And what's crazy is that these non-Black people are they don't hesitate to see. They actually see without all of the, rose-colored glasses. They just simply see the opportunity and they're going to take it. If you're smart, guys, you got to start learning how to deal with and discipline your emotions when it comes to opportunity. That's just if you want to change things. The demographic of people that I always talk to and focus on in my channel is the people who have been restricted from a lot of information, and would have done life differently if they knew information. Those of us wish we knew about prospects on the continent years ago. You know what I mean? Years ago, 2 decades ago, whatever. It would have impacted the way we did life, but this information was withheld from us. And so we didn't even consider it. I would say the vast majority probably of my viewers, the vast majority of people even here viewing this type of content on YouTube, a good 10 years ago, it wasn't even a forethought. It wasn't even an interest, whatever was happening on the continent. Some of you guys have been traveling there and venturing on, but a lot of people, it's more of a recent phenomenon. So that's today's topic. I just wonder, why is it that Black Americans are discouraged from going to Africa so much? It's not everybody. It's not like, oh, Africa's not safe for anyone. It's targeted at Black Americans. It's targeted at the diaspora who wants to go and explore and see what it is. What we really should receive from our community, if our community was functioning well, is well wishes and support and cohesion and unity, and say, hey, look, we're going to stay here in America. We're going to stay here and hold it down in the UK. We're going to be doing our initiatives over here. You guys go to Africa. You guys go over there and see what you can do. And then we're going to work and collaborate together. Duh. You guys go over there and set up the foundations. We got your back. We're going to support, you know what I mean? We're going to hold you down. We're going to inspire you. Just go over there because you guys are willing to go. The fact is, the people that are willing to go have a different level of courage. Yes, they do. Because there's been so much confusion and there's been such a lack of education about Africa and what's available. The people that rise above that are a different caliber. Let's be real. You know, they're adventurous. They're willing to go out there and start over. They're willing to explore. They're willing to put things on the line. So ideally, we would receive that love and support from home, you know, our home base perhaps, and go out there and venture and not be out on a limb and know that we have that support. But unfortunately, that's just not what's happening. You know, and I think it's sad. But unfortunately, this is human nature. Human nature rejects change a lot of times. Human nature doesn't respect the pioneers because those people are kind of going against the grain. And everybody, the vast majority of people is groomed to just do what the crowd is doing. You know, and do what has always been done and have the common perception and all of that. And so people that go against the grain receive so much hatred and vitriol from the masses. You know, but at the end of the day, those people that go first, they get the last laugh. Those people are the ones that capitalize. Those are the people that make the come up. Those are people that, you know, get the fortunes and get the recognition and all that stuff. The people that's willing to ride against the popular conception. It's undisputable that the future is in Africa, period. Okay, all the other ethnicities know it. They don't even dispute. Okay, been all over Forbes, been all over all these business outlets and financial journals and everything. That's why there's more foreigners heading to Africa. You know, not just Black foreigners, but foreigners, period. There's more foreigners heading to Africa than ever before because it's already been established that is the future. If you are a forward-thinking person, you would be a fool to overlook opportunities there. Yes, you would. And is it going to be a rosy path? Hello? Be mature, guys. Everything is not easy in life. Everything is not easy in life. Okay, that's the bottom line. My mother told me this when I was just a small girl. But although some of you guys are adults, you're struggling with this. You think you're going to come to Africa and everything is just going to magically manifest and it's going to, you know, opportunity is going to fall in your lap. No, you still have to toil. The benefit that you have in Africa is not as much adversities to getting to your goal. Not as many blockages that you face in the West, because guess what? In the West, you face a lot of blockages due to the racial construct. Okay? The racial construct is an everyday facet of life in the West for Black people. All right? And it restricts you from a lot of opportunities. It's called, have you guys ever heard of the glass ceiling? Second trivia question. If you guys have ever heard of the glass ceiling, it's number 2. Okay? The glass ceiling is an analogy for seeing above you, but there being a glass barrier that you cannot pass through. Okay? Doesn't matter how rich you are, doesn't matter your education, doesn't matter your social status or who you know or whatever. There's a limit to where Black people can escalate in these societies, period. Okay? And so when we move to Africa, we no longer are subject to that glass ceiling. It doesn't mean that we don't have to apply ourselves, and it doesn't mean that we don't have to do our research, and it doesn't mean that there's not dangers and scammers and things that could potentially, mess us up and all of that. All it means is that if we're willing to scale, we can scale, because we're not going to face some of those same systematic things. Sometimes you are incurring treatment based on systematic racism and you don't even know it. You may not even be aware. Like, let me give you a tidbit before I go into the chat room. Big shout out to the African Superstar family. Yes, glass ceiling. I'm glad I've enlightened you. Yes, it's a thing. You can Google it, but I'll just kind of explain what it is. And those of us who are in the corporate environment, we know all too well glass ceiling. Missing promotions, not getting the same equal pay as our counterparts, being treated, as if our education is not suffice or our professional opinion is not valued. Professionals, those of us who are in the corporate world, we know about the glass ceiling, and we have definitely experienced it, probably the vast majority. Bishop, I lost my train of thought before that. Hey, big shout outs, guys, to the African Superstar family. I'm in the building today. We have 19 of you guys. Please make sure you like the stream if you enjoy this content. My question is, listen, don't miss opportunities in Africa, okay? You need to remove all of this, the immaturity in your mind and just look at it as an opportunity. I keep using this example of land because you can get land on the continent for minimal capital, and you can't even do that in the West at all. It is an undisputed asset. It is an undisputed reality. Now, will the land always be cheap in Africa? I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, in Ghana, for instance, over the last 5 years, the increase of everything is noticeable. Because why? Because people are flocking to Ghana. Okay. And so that means, for instance, if you're looking to invest in Ghana, it's looking good because it's going up. So let's say if you bought land 10 years ago, which would have been 2016, that was before year of return. That was before the CD, has changed and all that, which is our currency in Ghana. Let me tell you, you could have bought land for very cheap, and now you can sell it high and make a profit. I know some people, for instance, recently the Kumasi International Airport opened up down in Kumasi. I remember people talking about buying land nearby that development because they knew what? Okay, when the airport comes, they're probably going to want to put shopping around there. They're going to want to probably put hotels. They're going to want to put amenities, and that means the property value is going to go up, and that means there's going to be business and all these different things. You got to be a visionary sometimes. Okay, stop being so emotional about every little thing and look at the big picture. You can do stuff in Africa you cannot do in the West. It's facts. All right, don't let anybody discourage you from doing this, because I'm telling you, non-Black people are taking advantage of opportunities in Africa. We don't want to miss out on opportunities in Africa. Okay, a lot of those same type of opportunities are way beyond our reach in the Western world. We can't even enter into the game because of the capital needed. And then the glass ceiling, like I explained. So if you want to change things in your future, this is a great opportunity. All right. Okay. Big shout out. I was getting ready to get into another point, but I've lost it now. So let me go ahead and start shout outs. Big shout outs to everybody who's here. We have over 20 of you currently. Please make sure you like the stream. It's good to see you. Lemmy God is in the building. Tony Africa is with us. Lemmy God says, right now, Russians are having a field day doing business in Africa despite being hit by heavy sanctions. The economy of Russia has become cushioned with doing business with Africa. Whose fault is that? And he also adds, Turkey is another country doing big things, big business in Africa, it's only because Blacks are choosing to beef, then work together. At the end of the day, they made their own bet. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it is. That's what it's going to be. If I mean, when opportunities are gone, they're gone. And I think all of us in this room know that prices steadily go up. They rarely go down. My entire life, I've seen things just increase. I've never seen things, such as gas, such as housing prices. Housing prices might fluctuate a little bit here and there, but it's not like they go back to the prices of the 50s and 60s where you could buy a whole house for like $15,000. You could buy a car for like $2,000-$3,000. You see, it doesn't work in the reverse, which means if you can get in when you can get in, it's best, wherever that may be, and realizing that there's a level of opportunity available to you right now that you're made aware of. Hello. Big shout outs. Passport travelers in the building, and answered my first trivia question, which the first trivia question was, if somebody came to you and said, hey, I'm selling an acre of land for $5,000. They don't tell you the location, but they just tell you they're selling land. You would undisputedly say, it's a deal. And some of you would buy it, and some of you would definitely take advantage of it. Okay, that's the reality currently in Africa, and yet we're not taking advantage. Why? Doesn't make sense. Do you think that land's going to be $5,000 forever? The land that I deal in Shy Hills, I told you in the past 2 years, it has increased twice. Okay, at first it was 25,000 CDs per plot, then it went to 30, and now recently it's gone up to 37,000 CDs per plot. Okay, people are building and developing out there. They're putting roads in, they're putting in, there's a police department over there and schools, so as more development comes, the price is going to go up. Okay, which means those of you guys dragging your feet, and I know, because there's always someone who comes and says, well, Africa's not for everybody. Duh. It goes without saying. This content is for the people that Africa is for. Okay, only you know if it's for you or if it's not for you. If it's not for you, why you watch a channel called The African Superstar, who talks about Pan-Africanism and migrating and living in Ghana and all those things and other African nations, is beyond me. This is for the people that are interested. My point is, if you are interested in Africa, you need to be making your moves now, because the price is only going to go up from here. And the countries in which diasporans are flocking to, Tanzania, Nigeria, Senegal, Gambia, South Africa. Okay, these are some of the very popular ones because we see a lot of YouTube action going on there. Okay, so basically wherever the diasporians go, they start social media, YouTube, to talk about their experience in Africa. So those are some of the popular countries that many diasporans are going. Okay, the price is only going to go up from here, guys. The price is only going to go up from here. If you're interested in the continent, okay, it's best to get your foot in sooner than later, because it's only going up from here. Okay, big shout outs. Tony Africa also answered. He said, yeah, it's a deal. Big shout outs to Swift Main. I see you there. Thank you for stopping by. Harapy says, girl, let them be. Imagine them coming to Africa with their nasty attitudes and destroying the relationship we are trying to build. I tell you, the opportunity in Africa is crazy. Passport Traveler is saying, again, she's mentioned it before in the channel. She's leaving Ghana after 3 years. She doesn't trust anybody with land. Again, like I said, the opportunity in Africa is not without its challenges. Please don't be disillusioned about that. Okay, that's also it's a huge weakness of the diasporans. They come and they're very emotional, and they do not always operate in common sense, okay? For instance, if you were buying land here in America, okay, I'm currently in Ohio as this video is being made. If you were buying land currently here in Ohio, I'm sure you would do some background on that land. Okay, if I was, matter of fact, if I was just standing out in the country with a sign that says land for sale, all right, land for sale, $10,000, are you just going to roll up to me on the side of the road, give me a big bag of cash and just, no. Okay, you're going to go to, the county, you're going to want some documentation, you're going to want to do this, you're going to want to do that. If you're buying land in Africa, you need to be definitely double, triple, quadruple, doing your research about that land. Okay, don't trust somebody who you meet in the Facebook Messenger or one of these groups, online groups or whatever. No. Okay, and matter of fact, I will promote you to see the land. I discourage people from buying land in countries they've never been to, from people they don't know. I've also extended the offer as far as the land that I deal in. I'll personally take you to the land so that you can see it. If you want to come to Ghana, like those of you that are going to join me on my next tour in October, if you would like to see, hey, Gina, I want to check out that land while we're on the tour, we'll be happy to arrange a time and take you out to Shy Hills so you can see the land yourself. You know what I mean? So that's the kind of stuff you need to do if you are trying to do land. And obviously, if you're trying to do land, going through someone reputable is very, very important. And I'm not talking about, oh, my taxi driver, said his cousin is in real estate. No. Perhaps maybe another diasporan that has had success buying land or working with a particular company or whatever can say, hey, look, I bought my land through these people. They're trusted, they're reputable. That's what you have to do. Now, I know a lot of people discard what I say. They don't ever listen. And then when they don't ever listen, they get into situations and then they go and slander the country and they're mad at the world. Okay. But these are necessary things that you should do. Okay. Because of all of the, people that are opportunists out there, you really, really, really need to be careful when you are trying to do business on the continent as a foreigner. You don't know what's going on around yourself. You can't even communicate in the local language. So you got to definitely make sure that you're checking up on these things. Okay. Big shout outs to you guys. Okay. Okay. So this person says that they have, a place in Zanzibar and now buying in South Africa and Zambia. You're buying in many different countries. I hope you've done all of your due diligence. We definitely know Africa is not just Ghana. Big shout outs. What's up? Lemmy God says Dr. Cambon got his last laugh long ago. He denounced his U.S. citizenship because he has returned home. Therapy says Africa is the final frontier. The reason why other nationalities are thriving is because of unity. They stick together. We don't get it. We don't get it. Our people talk about unity, but they don't walk it out. And again, we see all this as it's called the Diaspora Wars. I just think it's just so stupid. When I was growing up, there was this saying that says, I'm rooting for everybody black. You know what I mean? It's a very simple concept. It's like, look, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know if you're a musician. I don't know if you're a gymnast. I don't know if you're a politician or a teacher. But I want you to win. I want you to have a good life. I want you to overcome. I want you to be successful. That's the attitude that we really should have towards our people. Even if they choose to do things that we are not into, even if they choose to go the unbeaten, the beaten, unbeaten path. Okay. If I'm into Ghana because I've done my research and I've traveled to Ghana and I love Ghana, Ghana is the place for me. And you say, you know what? I don't like Ghana. I prefer Senegal. You know what I'm saying? I'm more into Kenya or South Africa is my vibes. My wishes for you is, hey, do your thing. You know what I'm saying? I know Maturity is going to tell me we don't all walk the same path and we don't all have the same taste. So I know that everybody's not going to feel, I love hot weather. I know some people don't like hot weather. I like spicy food. I know some people don't like spicy food. I'm not uncomfortable around Ghanaians and tree speakers, and I'm abreast of the music. I wear kente cloth. I'm all into my life in Ghana. So I know that everybody's not into it the same way I am, but I wish them well on their journey. I don't come on here and diss any other member of the diaspora because of their perspectives. Why should we do that? It's so divisive and it's so stupid and it's so not productive. So, matter of fact, you're having diasporians go over to Africa that could potentially become very successful, very wealthy, very rich. You don't want to have those connections. You don't want to have those links so that you can tap in and we can exchange. Let's rise above. That's what I would really love for my people. I mean, I know it's wishful thinking, but let's rise above a lot of this cattiness and this immaturity that unfortunately is so rampant among my peers. It's just like, let's look at the bigger picture. Africa is offering us opportunities that are not available to us in the West. What's wrong with those of us that want to go out there and take it? What's wrong with those of us that want to utilize our resources from the West and go out there and take it? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with those of us? It's like, yeah, my American dollar is double, triple, quadrupled when I go to Africa. I can live a better life. I don't have to work. I can retire. I can live by the beach. I can do, what's so wrong with that? And for those of you in America that can't do it or, won't be able to do it, it's nice to have those connections and say, hey, look, I can't move to Ghana, but when I come, can you show me around? When I come, can you hook me up? I'm looking for this. I need this, that. To have a network. It's very valuable. Lemmy God says white Portuguese nationals are thriving in Mozambique and Angola today because they think outside the box and they made their moves without fear. Big shout outs to the family. Yes, I talked about the glass ceiling. If you guys know about the glass ceiling, that was a number 2 for the trivia question. But yes, the glass ceiling is in effect in the West. Okay, that's why for the millions of Black people that live here, we are represented by a few thousand, few hundred. Just here in America, every now and then you see the first Black American doing this, the first Black American doing that, the first Black American elected to parliament, or they don't have parliament, but Congress in the state of blah blah blah. In 2024, the first. Now, that should tell you, listen, the glass ceiling is in full effect. So you mean to tell me Blacks before that person didn't try? It's a lie. It's a lie. Did you know other Black people have tried to run for the president of the United States? Do you know they have run for governor, senator, congressman? Hello? So it's not like it's the first Black person. It's the first Black person that got through the glass ceiling. And quite frankly, a lot of the elevated Black Americans or Black British, a lot of them are sellouts. And that's part of the requirements of them escalating, is that they have to be somewhat controlled by these people who have let them through the glass ceiling. Okay, because they're not going to let a radical, self-aware, Pan-African, confident, Black person escalate. No, they won't, because they know that's going to be too influential on other Black people. They don't want that. They want the Blacks that are there, but not really functional. And we see a lot of them, in the Republican Party and Senate, those, congressmen and all this stuff. It's like, oh yeah, we have Black people, lawmakers. We have Black judges. We have Black mayors. We have Black, governors. But at the end of the day, isn't it funny how they'll be voting for legislation that goes against Black people, that makes it difficult for them to do this, that gives them more jail time, all this kind of stuff. And you'll be thinking like, damn, we had a Black governor. Why did he do this? We had a Black president. Why did he do this? Well, because to get through the glass ceiling, they had to sell out. Okay, so the glass ceiling is one of the barriers in the West that we don't face in Africa. In Africa, if you have money and you work hard and you get connected, the sky's the limit for you, and it's mostly contingent on you. If you're going to be motivated enough to get those kind of results. Big shout outs. What's up? What's up? Lemmy God says glass ceiling is rife everywhere in the West, including Australia, New Zealand, everywhere. Well, that's something you need to tell O'Shea. Teddy's requesting for me to go on Kinganda. I go on Kinganda from time to time. O'Shea will contact me when he, wants my opinion on a topic or whatever. But if you want to see me on Kinganda, just let O'Shea know. And he's a good friend of mine, so that's not far-fetched. Big shout outs to you. Lemmy says land is still cheap in Zimbabwe, but it will soon start to go up sooner than later because the new ZiG currency is changing things on the ground. I mean, period. Land is going up. Even for those of you that have already bought land in Africa. If you try to go back and buy that same plot today, the price is up than what you bought it for. I am 1000% correct in my analysis that land is going to go up in Africa. Especially the more popular, the more people get out here and start promoting it and stuff like that. And I'm telling you, that is a surefire investment. You know what I'm saying? It's a surefire investment because if you buy it cheap and the price is going to go up, let's say you say, oh, you know what? I'm going to get this land and I'm going to hold it for 10 years. Okay. Let's say, for instance, I made that example about the land around the Kumasi airport. The Kumasi airport just got completed. All right. Within 2024 and it's open now. So let's say 10 years ago, again, what year is it? 24? Okay, so 2014, you bought that land and you say, you know what, I'm going to buy this land and I'm just going to hold it for 10 years. You could sell that land around the airport now, probably double, triple whatever you bought it for 10 years ago. Okay, profit, passive. You ain't even got to do nothing. Now, obviously, Passport Traveler talked about, not being able to trust people with land. You need to make sure it's legit. You need to make sure that you've done a good deal because in some African nations, people have been buying land either, whoever they bought land was not authorized to sell it to them, or sometimes the same plot has been sold to multiple people. Sometimes people have literally created fake realty companies and they're just going around telling people that they can sell land and this and that. That's why you got to go to the land registry and get the details. Does someone else own this land, or is it authorized to sell or whatever? Because it is a lot of foolishness going on, Big shout outs. What's up? What's up? What's up? Therapy says Zimbabwe is a sleeping giant. Buy now and it's safe and peaceful. Big shout outs. What's up? What's up? See, it actually happened to Passport Traveler, what I just talked about. I bought land and realized 3 other people owned it. You see, these are some of the things that happen. I hope that you were able to maybe recoup your money or whatnot, or I don't know if you're going to have to take that person to court or whatever. But yes, I have heard about those things. So you have to, make sure. I mean, I deal with land that is verified. We've personally gone to meet with the chiefs and all that stuff in that area. And that land is free and clear. It's litigation. It's never been, it's just new lands that have been opened up. So there's no previous owners of the land that I sell, and that's too legit to quit. And we have literally sold currently now to hundreds of diasporians, and people are already out there building on their plots and all of that stuff. So you really have to, do your due diligence. And I would say, I think in Ghana, it's a unique case, at least what I'm dealing with, because this company that we're dealing with, through Sister Yah, is done by a diasporian. So, she's there on the ground and she's gone and done all the research and is now providing this directly to the diaspora that says, hey, look, I'm trustworthy. Here's my track record. You can do business with me. So you don't have to deal with, a Ghanaian per se and trying to work through all those details. You can go through somebody you can communicate with at your own level. And, so again, if you guys are interested, for instance, in land in Ghana, I am selling lands with Sister Yah at Shy Hills Settlement. It is heading to the eastern region. For those of you guys that know, Ghana is heading towards Akosombo. It's past Tema. So, I'm very happy if any of you come to Ghana or are planning upcoming trips and you say, you know what, I would like to take a look at this land, or I'm interested, don't hesitate to send me an email to africansuperstar@gmail.com. Big shout outs. What's up? What's up? Lemmy says, I'm saving up to buy land in Zim and build my own big house and have zero mortgage. It's why I'm still in Oz raising money to build my house. Once I'm done, I'm out. I mean, that's again, that's another opportunity. Those of you guys in America that are having mortgages, I mean, you're going to deal with it forever. And even once you pay the mortgage off, you still have property taxes. I've read stories about people that didn't have a next of kin. And so when they died, because there was nobody to absorb their property, they had no children, no spouse, whatever, the property gets absorbed by the auction. Nobody's there to pay the property tax. The government puts a lien on your house, and next thing you know, it's auctioning and they're selling it again. And you, the person who paid off the mortgage, it's just like it never existed. So you don't want that to be the case. If you are investing in a house, you want to own it and be able to pass it on, or whatever you want to be able to do, and you don't want to keep getting charged on it. You know what I'm saying? That's why if you can build it when you're young or whatever, when you get old, you can retire and not have to worry about it. So there's people in Africa, they went abroad, they worked, they raised money, like what Lemmy God is talking about. They set themselves up in Africa. When they retire, they don't have to worry about housing costs because they own land and they own a house on the land, and that's it. All they need is food, their utilities, transportation, and probably while they were abroad, they shipped a car, or they may have come back with money. You see, because the cost of living in America makes it difficult to ever get to the point where you are settled, where you own stuff and you're not constantly paying out. In this country, you are constantly paying out every single day. You're spending money. It's very difficult to not spend money here because that's how the system is designed. Payments, you're constantly paying instead of owning, getting to the point where you can earn money without constantly spending it back. What's up? What's up? Lemmy's also saying Namibia and Botswana are great nations too, small populations and peaceful, great weather and reliable power. Big shout out to Lions Voice Network. Thank you guys for being in the building. If you're here, make sure you like the stream and you can leave me a message in the chat room. Lions Voice Network says Africa is the future. Mama Africa is calling her children home. Not everyone of African descent will hear and or answer the call, and that is okay. Shut. Big shout outs. What's up? Lemmy says, as the saying goes, many will be called, but only a few are chosen. I mean, and guys, those of us, we hope for a long life, but I'm telling you, 10 or 20 years, that land that you see today, that land I'm telling you in Shy Hills, it's not going to be the cost that it is today. I'm telling you. And people that bought it at this price are going to be rejoicing when they see those property values go up. And they there's people that are buying the land to settle, but there's probably other people that are buying it as an investment. They say, you know what, I'm going to buy this land right now. I got $10,000. I got $5,000. I can get a plot. I can get 2 plots. I can get an acre. I'm just going to get this land. I'm telling you, I can tell you the community I live in Ghana, which is called East Legon. 10 years ago, they tell me it was a bush. I even have a friend, my friend from university, Kofi, told me they were selling plots over there for $1,000 back then. If you guys know anything about East Legon, that land is now selling for like $50,000, $60,000. That's not even with a house. That's just land in Accra, proper Accra. So in that respect, if you're planning on like a 10-year retirement, let's say you're planning on a 10-year retirement. Let me just give you some game. All right. Buy some land, Now, legit land, wherever you're interested in, try to hustle, do that first. Okay. Hustle up the money and get that land secured. All right. As you're staying in the West, try to save $10,000 every year. I know it's hard, but try to do that. In 10 years, guys, the price of your land is likely going to appreciate, and you're going to have 100,000 USD, pounds, euros, whatever, which would make you a millionaire in most African nations with the current currency exchange. That is a 10-year plan, and you can retire comfortably to Africa at that point. Okay, you don't got to wait for Social Security. You don't got to wait for pension. If you have those things, that's going to be extra money on top. That's going to be a different stream of income. But you can move with liquid cash, land secured. And also, if you're really hustling during that 10 years, you're building up your house, you're trying to do as much as you can. By the end of that 10 years, I know someone who's done it. I met someone who personally has done it. An African, he's from Tamale. So he did it in 10 years. You know what I mean? Saved up the money, built his house, and was able to retire in 10 years. Some of his friends that's working, they talking 30 years. You don't got to wait like that. You just got to be strategic. All right, big shout outs, guys. Passport Traveler says, I really do encourage people to come. I was led by the blind and the scammers, but the opportunity is here for everyone. Big shout outs to Passport Traveler, and I appreciate that statement, because even though unfortunately you encounter something, negative and, problematic, we still can't negate that the opportunity is there. It's just like, I would say, the California gold rush in America. Okay. People got word that there was gold in California. So a lot of Americans that were in different states and everything, they sold all their stuff and they rushed out to California to go. When they went out there, they encountered all kind of stuff. People were selling them fool's gold. People were selling them land that didn't have any gold on it, but they were being told that it did. There was all kind of scams happening because the opportunists knew that, oh, these people are coming to try to get this gold, and so in a sense, that's what we face when we're coming to Africa to make our African dreams come true. We will encounter, challenges. We might encounter scammers or disappointments. We might have to go back to square one, but it doesn't dispute that the opportunity is there, and you just have to be diligent about finding it or creating your own path. All right, big shout outs. Yes. All right, guys. Don't be going back and forth in the chat room, please. Where's my moderators? Please, guys, no back and forth. Salome Boy says, sister, keep doing you. These FBA ADOS are just haters and despise anything to do with their continent. Shout outs to you. Yes. Salome says, Africa is not for everyone, as Marcus Garvey said. And it goes without saying. And we just need to be real about that. You know what I mean? And it's unfortunate because, the people that are going to be left behind, they're going to be sad about it when they realize. It's just kind of like those people that had an opportunity to buy Bitcoin in the beginning. I never ever heard about Bitcoin, but until it blew up. Okay. But there were some people that actually they were exposed to it. And for one reason or another, they were like, oh, I'll buy some later. They didn't take it seriously. And then Bitcoin blew up and made millionaires. And those people are like, damn, it's going to be the same thing. Because if you look at the climate and forecast of what's happening right now in America, then you recognize that life is getting much more challenging over here. Life is getting much more expensive over here. At this rate, in 10 years, rent can probably be triple what it is today. I know my old apartment that I lived in 2015 here in Columbus, Ohio, it was $650. It's now that same room is going for $1,200 now. So that means in the course of nearly 10 years, they have doubled the rent. So what does that mean in 10 or 20 years? It means that just to survive, you may not be able to survive. And wouldn't it be refreshing to say, oh my God, I'm so glad that I listened to African Superstar back in 2024. I spent that $3,000. I got my plot. I spent that $5,000 and got my plot. That might be a month of rent in 10 more years. What's 10 years going to be? 2034. So in 2034, $5,000 might be a 1-bedroom apartment. And you'll be thinking to yourself, oh my God, I could have bought a whole fucking, excuse my language, I could have bought a whole plot of land for what I'm spending in 1 month on rent. Lion's Voice says, no one is coming to save Black people. Damn, turn up the volume for those in the back. No one is coming to save Black people. Divide and rule was their only plan. We must find like-minded people and do the work. Hard times are coming for the West. 100%. 100%. Woo, my goodness. Yes. All right, guys. Okay, we don't need the dramas in the chat room, guys. Let me say that. Okay, to whom it applies. All right, to whom it applies. We don't need the drama in my chat room. That's not what this is about. Okay, so you guys need to be on your best behavior. It's straight up adults. No insulting type of comments and no, back and forth derogatory. That's not what this is about. Okay, rise above. I'm always telling you guys the same things. Rise above, be mature. The mission statement of this channel: strategy, maturity, and patience. Okay, what does that type of behavior, how is it productive? What does it produce? Okay, I've gotten where I am in life due to maturity and overlooking a lot of stupidity and a lot of ignorance and taking the role of a teacher than a critic. All right, we're not going to slander and berate each other. It's very, very useless. And that's how it's a fast track to getting blocked on my channel. So please, all right, please mind yourself if you have been warned. All right, big shout outs. Golden Gold is in the room. Thank you so much for these well wishes to Passport Traveler. We empathize with Passport Traveler. We empathize with anyone else who has become a victim of various things on the continent. And, it's not pleasant. But that is why we definitely come, those of us, some content creators, we come and try to advise you guys the pitfalls so that you don't fall into those traps. You know what I mean? And so, obviously, and we acknowledge, Passport Travelers trying to be mature and say, hey, look, I wasn't successful in some of these things, but, it might work out for someone else. And that's real. All right, guys. All right. So that brings us to the end of the show. Prince, oh, I almost missed you. What's up? Prince Kanadu says, owning hard assets will save you from the de-dollarization that's going on. Facts. That too. Because the currency fluctuates up and down. But once you already have bought that land and you own that land, you're not subject to that. And I'm telling you, land is one of those things that does not depreciate. I'm telling you, land does not depreciate. Land, has gone from probably being hundreds to thousands to millions. And so it is something that members of the diaspora should really, really entertain, because it's something that we haven't really probably considered in the West because it's out of our reach. We've never been confronted with, oh, there's a deal to own land for 5,000, 10,000, something within our price range, our income range. That has not been available to us in the West. So it's probably something we've never thought about, but it is available right now across the continent. And for any person who has their Africa plan, it's like a must have. You know, and people like me and Lemmy, we're working to raise the money to complete it. It's okay to say that. It's okay to say, you know, I'm not going to hide the fact and come and tell you guys, yeah, I don't own land yet, you know, but I realize that it's an asset I can't go wrong on. So I need to acquire some, and I need to acquire some while the price is I'm able to get in. And in the second part of this, I'm getting ready to wrap up because I've been going on a long time. But the second part of this is the gentrification. You see, these non-Black foreigners are coming to Africa and they're not hesitating to get into the game. What happens is they snatch it from right up from behind us. While we're dilly-dallying and dragging our feet and taking 20 years and 10 years to get to Africa, these people are coming, hitting the ground running. They realize, oh my God, my money is going to go so much further in Africa. Let me go over here now and start investing, start acquiring land, start getting set up. They know how to do this. This is what their people have been literally doing for centuries, okay? Is, you know, buying low, selling high, and they get profits. So we need to take a page, you know, from people that have become successful. We need to take a page from their book. Okay? Big shout out to the African Superstar family. I appreciate everybody who came in today. And shout out to my moderators and all the viewers. Guys, if you are seeing the playback, make sure you leave your comments about this topic below. I appreciate all you guys. And shameless plug, if you want to meet me in person or you want to come view that land in Shy Hills in person, please don't miss my next tour, October 21st through the 27th in Accra, Ghana. We'll be taking you to Kumasi and also Cape Coast. My tour partner, Mr. Taye Uhuru, and I are excited about our upcoming tour, and we want to see you there. So if you're interested in it, please head over to www.tayeuhuru.com, my tour partner's website. It's right on the homepage. You can see the full itinerary, everything you're going to get with your tour. And I also have an interview here from our last tour visitor, Miss Ajike. She talked about her accommodations and how everything went in Ghana and how she loved it. So you guys can hear firsthand from someone who's already come and toured with us. Okay. Vet KB, I see you there, sweetheart. Big shout outs to you, my moderators, everybody with a wrench. Appreciate you. Until we meet again, stay Black and true. If you ain't Black, just stay true.